Ooh, there's that ring. There's that ring.
Beautiful Halo.
Oh, man. Okay, so Brian, as we kind of kick this off, what point in time did you see this documentary around, like, between playing the actual campaign? Like, how was there a gap in time, or was it real close?
It wasn't that close because I got this came with the limited edition, and I just had the standard.
Right.
I think I watched this some point between Halo 2 and 3 coming out. It was before.
What
3.
year did you play Halo 2 the first time? Was it 2006?
I played it right after launch, the December that it
okay, yeah, I was
but
that part.
I then got it the following year, so I probably watched this in 2006 if I had to guess.
Okay.
But man, just the passion and the scale behind what they were trying to do. Like, just even now, I know we have the anniversary graphics, but looking at this behind the scenes and seeing like the environments, I'm just like, oh man, this game's, it's not beautiful, but it's beautiful.
Well, that's why the anniversary is such a beautiful thing, right? Because like, I mean, I always prefer to play in the OG graphics, but even though I now like the new graphics, the remastered graphics, it's like, it's so nice to be able to switch back because I can appreciate both without feeling like I'm being forced to play one. And when I see the new graphics, as we've been chipping away at the campaign, I'm like always switching back to this to just see where we came from, you know? Yeah. Oh man, and look at these haircuts from like 2004. Look at those CRTVs and shit. Oh my god.
I know, it seems insane that like they developed this, this game with all that old technology. You know, it seems old to us now, but it was cutting edge then.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I don't remember when I saw this. Like, I don't know where the ratio was between me playing the game and then seeing this. I think I probably watched this somewhere around the time I beat the campaign, but I think it was like a couple months before the LAN party stuff, or right around that time, actually, that it took off, that I kind of dived back into this, and suddenly, with all this music playing and all them chattering and stuff like that, I was like, oh, I'm there.
Well, I think it needs to be said that like this is the video that established like fans' connection to the crew.
This part.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this is what made us feel like they were our friends. You know, even though we don't know them, they don't know us, but we felt like we were there in the studio with them.
Yeah, I mean, you tell me if you're the same, but like up until this point, I never really considered anything. I never thought about the people who made these video games. Like, I always saw them in the manuals, I always saw the names in there, but I literally gave zero thought to people making video games until.
But now we know them like like the back of our hand. You know, it's like, oh, that's Joe Staten, that's Marty O'Donnell, that's Jason Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, guys, we're seeing like this opening montage, like all this different Halo 2 stuff. Oh my god, this is making me so nostalgic.
The original E3 demo mixed with actual footage.
Yeah, and then they're out in the training field testing weapons, E3, and all this shit. It's like sensory overload. Man, and when I watched this the first couple times, I remember thinking this felt like a movie length, and I mean, it's close if you watch some of the special features, because there's a little bit more there too, but I'm always bummed that it's only 52 minutes.
Yeah, it's because you just want to live in this world forever.
Yep.
It's kind of like the game. You want to live in the studio forever.
Yeah, exactly. Want to be a fly on the wall, and that's kind of what this represents, I suppose.
See some action figures here, Halo 2 action, or that was Halo 1 action figures, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it was. What was that? What did I say? Marty's Mutant Mix or something like that?
Yeah, it was just like M&Ms? A bowl of like Marty's like treats or whatever. All those original Xbox controllers.
There's them there at the LAN party, or their version of a LAN party. But yeah, oh man. I miss doing that. I was just thinking the other day about us doing the one at Kyle's. Man, that was so much fun getting to meet him and all those different people and stuff like that.
LAN parties are the best. Like, see, like if my enjoyment of multiplayer in Halo is like a 7 out of 10, LAN party takes it to a 10.
Yep.
Like that's how I like to play Halo. I just multiplayer in general. I've just always preferred being in person to online. I feel like
there's our boy Joe Staten.
Joe Staten. He has to know that like he's like the poster boy that like all the Halo fans unite behind, and it's got. I mean, I'm sure part of it's cool, but I'm sure sometimes it could probably be kind of annoying as well. You know, I can imagine.
I'm sure there's a part of me that thinks like, does he know that we love him? And then there's the other part of me that thinks, okay, he probably knows that most people like him, but then maybe he's probably met people that have been really weird around him. Some people can be like those weird, creepy fans. You know? Yeah,
I'm sure the way that the Inside Infinites are structured at Halo Waypoint, with him coming in at the end, I think they know that he's a big name. You know, they know that this is going to sell people.
Yep. Brian, what's your thoughts on Jason Jones?
Elusive. I've always thought of him as elusive.
Reminds me of that Star Wars quote. Something elsewhere, Master. Elusive.
Oh, here's Jamie Grisomere talking
Yeah,
about 30
Grisomere.
seconds
Love
of fun.
Grisomere.
I missed
Talking
that.
about the
They're
30
showing
seconds
Halo
of
1
fun.
footage. I missed that white trim around the UI that's not in the MCC.
See, I can forget about little things like that. It's you and Taraz that kind of remind me of little things.
Yeah, I always remember. I knew when I first played Anniversary, I'm like, something's off with this UI. I was like, oh, there's no white trim.
Oh man.
No, but Jason Jones, like, I mean, in general, I think of him as probably like a super talented, awesome genius, but he's just so elusive, and he's never at the forefront of anything, you know?
Yeah, he's kind of soured on me a bit because I didn't realize it watching this for years that he's there here in the beginning and then he kind of takes off and we don't really see him. I don't think, at least for the rest of it, and that's because he kind of took off and went on his own, and that's why they have the whole committee that we eventually get into and everything like that. So I'm soured on that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. He still seems like a cool guy. I always love that comment he talks about, the juggling the balls in the air and more than you can catch and all that stuff.
It's just weird that, like, even now at Bungie, I feel like he's like, he's there, but it feels like he doesn't exist.
Yeah,
He's hidden.
He's like the captain of a ship that never comes out.
Yeah, but I mean, technically, he's not even the captain, though. That's the thing, is he?
That's true. Yeah. No, that's a good point. See, this thing. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh.
No. I'll remember.
Well, I'm just watching. It's showing like the Arbiter at the beginning of Halo 2, and the Prophet saying how he's failed, and I just remember how extremely confusing it was to me playing this game and just not understanding who the heck this Golden Elite was. And I also, which it seems ridiculous, but I also at one point thought the Golden Elite was someone separate from the Arbiter.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were the same.
I don't think I
person.
ever had that situation. I wasn't ever feeling that confused, but I mean, I was still confused about the story. When it was switching over to the Covenant side of things, I was like, part of me didn't care enough to understand, and then the other part of me just was so...
Get back to Master Chief.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, now we're seeing Marcus Leto there put his wave his hand around some CRTVs and talk.
Got a lot more hair there.
He does have a lot. He's got all the hair there compared to now, but
he doesn't look. He doesn't really look any older now. He just looks bald.
Well, and it's crazy too. I mean, I didn't even know watching this back then. I didn't even realize he was like the father of Master Chief. I didn't actually get, like, my impression of Marcus Leto was that this was a guy who, like, was definitely one of the more higher, the big names working on the game, but he wasn't like a big name. So definitely a preconceived notion, I guess, or something.
What's another weird thing is, like, I don't know if you're like me, Josh, but when I tell you to list the enemy types in a Halo game, I feel like I never think to list Sentinels because I don't think of them as enemies.
Yeah, I forget about them a lot. Same when it comes to the conversation switches to weapons, I never think to mention the Sentinel beam.
Yeah. It's like they don't count or something.
April
but they
2003, 21 months to ship. They're all standing in a room.
April
right
2003,
now.
yeah.
Screen,
Wow.
Look at those beanbag couches.
18 years ago.
Oh, and he's wearing an Oni shirt. Oh my god.
It's cool.
Oh, now they're talking about E3.
He's telling us what E3. Jamie Grismer's telling us what E3 stands for.
Oh man, yeah. We're not there yet, but damn. Oh, I saw footage of Republic Commando. That was so cool. But man, when they play the Reason, that's synonymous to me with Halo. Like, that's a part of the soundtrack that's just not on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like I can't listen to it and not think about.
I know this is off topic, but they just showed World of Warcraft at E3, and it just blows my mind that game came out in 2004 and is still being played. And still,
yeah, I was going to say, so that for them was still their big year too. 2004. Yeah, I forget about that sometimes. But
well, actually, this is 2003, so they were showing off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it ended up, but that was still planned to be launched.
Yeah.
In the same year. Oh,
now they're showing us that E3 demo, which...
Yeah, let's talk about that kind of right now. Like, what do you... And I mean, we'll talk about it more as we get to it, but...
Well, I don't think either of us really realized this till adulthood, but these E3 demos are basically a shit ton of work, but they're not used in the game most of the time. They're just...
Yeah, it's either smoke and mirrors, or it's like really sidetracking them from what they could actually be doing to progress development of the game, right?
Okay, here's something I'd like to ask you, Josh, because... So every time I watched... Now, I watched the E3 demo for the first time after Halo 2 came out because I became a fan after. But every time I hear people talk about the E3 demo, they always talk about how upset they were that they didn't get that and how they wish they'd had it and they missed it and whatever. And, like, now, maybe it's just because I played it after, but, like, when you watch the E3 demo, do you see anything that you think to yourself, wow, this is superior to what we got?
Yeah, like, I don't think there's a lot going on as much as they try to make it seem like it, when it gets to the actual gameplay. But I think yes, in regards to the chattering that's there with the Marines. I still think it's there in Halo 2, but the way it's established in this, it feels like there's such a... It feels like no matter what section you go to, there's something going on. Marines are saying something, there's chattering.
Because it was on stage 43. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't feel that sense of isolation, I think, that I sometimes hate in first-person shooters. You know, I like that they're there, like, because for me, as I'm playing through and killing as the super soldier, then it's like all the Marines in this E3 demo seem like they're facilitating the world building by how they talk and everything and communicate. But it's still there. I mean, you still do get that in Halo 2, just I don't think as in your face as I...
You know what's weird? Like, we're watching Jason Jones, or not Jason Jones, sorry,
it's
Joe
raining
Staten.
brutes, baby!
We watched Joe Staten showing off the E3 demo, and like it's hard to get a vibe for like who was in charge or who has what stature during the development of Halo 2 because it was so unstructured. Like, there's times where it seems like Joe Staten is like the lead of the project, but you know he's not.
Yep. Yeah, I guess I never even, again, this is one of those things I never put together when I was younger watching this, but I like it. You never do see a real boss. Everyone just seemed like it was the same people in the same playing field, you know, with no real lead, just making this game. But seemed like they knew what they were doing, even though this documentary is very much about proving they didn't. So,
yeah.
But man, the brute hopping on the warthog that's trying to swat Marines out and stuff like that. That is, we're seeing the animation of Nathan kind of showing that off, and now Marcus Leto talking. But I would have loved for that to have really been there more.
You know, it's something I actually kind of forgot until right now when we're seeing this. But when I first played Halo 2, and my friend who had the copy told me that you could hijack vehicles, and I was like, really? Like, how do you? I'm like, how do you do that? And he's like, well, you just got to be close to it and hold down the X button or whatever. And when I realized you could do it and I first pulled it off, I was floored. I thought it was one of the coolest things in gaming ever. I'm like, you can hijack.
It's still incredibly satisfying. Like, we probably do take it for granted nowadays, but
oh yeah, we definitely.
Anytime I play Halo 2, it feels satisfying, I think, because I remember what it felt like to do that the first couple times. Pulling that off in multiplayer, there's still that risk and reward factor. Like, if it's a ghost, you know, you're still kind of susceptible to getting ran over, but if you're smart and you manage to do it, or if you do it midair with a Banshee, oh my god, and you see the person just fall out, it's uber satisfying to this level. Look at all these gray 100% cotton graphic t-shirts, they're in there.
Right. It sucks because I'm pretty sure this studio has been demolished. I don't think it exists anymore.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Man. Okay,
I think it was taken over by 343, and then 343 got a new building and they demolished this one.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they potentially took that over. This is the part where Marcus Little's talking about the lighting, right? Where he had to. Well, now Jason Jones is talking. But isn't this where he says something about having to fix the lighting? Yeah, he's got to like.
Yeah.
What was going to be a few hours of work is now a whole night's work or something like that.
This looks like one of those nights where somebody had to sleep in the office.
Yep. It's amazing that I don't even see anybody else in the background, like no one else at their desks working there.
It's gonna be weird, like...
Look at all the paperwork.
Right, their desks are messy.
Oh my god, I've never paid attention to that.
It's gonna be weird for people like Marcus Leto, Jason Jones, Marty O'Donnell, Joe Staten. Like, a lot of these people we're naming, like... A lot of them, like, we see them as, like, almost like heroes or, like, celebrities. We see them as, like, such iconic, awesome people who made these games we love. But I bet for a lot of them, they just feel like an extremely normal dude who worked on a thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta feel like normal Joes, and they probably got their own group of people that they kind of look up to the way we look up to them, but... Yeah, these guys were idols. There's our good composer, good dude, Marty O'Donnell. Mr. Occasionally Condescending. Oh, man.
Well, I was going to say, I was just saying, like, these people probably don't think they're big shots, but I'm like, well, Marty O'Donnell probably does.
Yeah, definitely does. Oh, I love that. I just can't stick it. Man, that's still an iconic part, too. A little something for the fans. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, this, I said this to Brian so many times, guys, but I think my love of the Halo 2 soundtrack, it's my favorite of all the Halo ones. But I think it's more synonymous with this documentary than it is with the
Breaking Benjamin
itself.
song right here.
Crazy. Yeah, dude.
Without vocals.
Yep.
They're setting up that E3 booth.
Yeah, kind of the... Oh, I love this. Seeing the whole display with all the lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, guys, before COVID hit and we were just doing all this podcast stuff, I remember we were thinking, like, let's go to E3, let's go check out Halo Infinite, and then COVID happened. But hopefully we can make it to an E3 sometime. That'd be really fun.
Well, yeah, E3's digital this year too.
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
I don't know.
Obviously
The
not.
days of regular E3 might be gone. I don't know.
They might be. I don't know. I hope to see them return someday.
Josh, can you imagine, like, if we could time travel, wouldn't you want to time travel to this point and go attend this Halo 2 E3?
Yep, I was gonna say, like, if I'm in regards to Halo-ish stuff, if I'm gonna go to an E3, it's gotta be this one. It's gotta be this one. Because on top of it, you see, like, I think Jen Taylor is here at some point. She's signing autographs and stuff.
Yep.
And like,
She's
don't
probably
really
still
get that.
thinking, like,
type of
this
stuff
is
for E3.
just a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't as like self-aware as it kind of is now. And everyone's being escorted into this room. This is where this lady's like, I gotta stop you right here.
And the guy's
Oh,
like,
man.
Oh man, I was so close. Now I gotta
Yeah,
wait
the
20
awkwardness.
minutes.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and back at this time, 2004, a lot of actresses, actors, voice actors, they probably thought that getting a role in a video game was like lesser than a movie, but nowadays it can be bigger. You know.
Yeah, definitely, and it can be a good stepping stone too. People hear you work in those games, and then they're like, "Oh shit," you know. It's crazy.
I mean,
to think about.
like if you could choose between being an extra in an Avengers movie or being literally, you know, Joel from The Last of Us. You know, Joel from The Last of Us is a much bigger iconic role.
Right. Here's Johnson doing that famous E3 introduction. What you're about to see here is a mission in progress.
No smoke and mirrors bullshit.
Yeah.
Totally smoke and mirrors bullshit.
Pre-recorded bullshit. Oh man, and it's just dimly lighting, dimly lit in the room. Just
This
a
is where
blue hue on
Hoobastanks the
everybody's face.
Reason would play.
Yep. Oh man, this is where my nostalgic really.
He calls Joe Staten like a pasty white bastard, I think. Or something.
Yeah, the whole room is black now except for the light on his face. Now we're cutting the gameplay. It's about to go into first person. Oh, Brian, it's like reliving Infinite all over again right there.
Yeah. I wonder, because you know they always say, like, you know, for this E3 demo they had to stay on a specific path or else the game would break. I wonder how specific. Like, is it so specific that Joe could accidentally make a few steps the wrong way and ruin it?
Yeah,
Like,
I've wondered that.
I don't want to
myself.
take it too literally.
Like how literal? Yeah, how literal do they mean that? Oh, here comes that damn music. Everyone's seeing dual wielding for the first time.
Oh man.
Their jaws are open. They're smiling. Yeah, I would have given a lot to have been in this group of people to see this for the first time, but more so to
We
be
were
a fun-
super. I mean, let's see. So when this was 2003. So I would have been 11. Josh would have been what, 14?
I think so. 13, 14. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
like
So
that.
even
There's
even
Jen
you weren't
Taylor
really-
signing Cortana, Live the Graphs
yes,
or whatever that was.
That's weird to think about. She's signing Cortana pictures from Halo 1 because
Yeah.
you know that's the only game that's currently out.
Yep. Yeah, Cortana from Halo 1 doesn't get talked about a lot. See, I love this part too. You have so many shots of the people's faces that are like joyful, and then there's these ones that we're seeing right now where people are just like their jaws are open and they're just blank expressions.
Like this is
you know?
like this is the best video game ever.
Yeah,
I
they're
can
just
tell.
like really taking this in. I mean, it's gotta, you know, because it's just insane. I play Halo 2 from Halo 1, and I'm not thinking about all these huge new upgrades. I'm just like, this is the next story. I'm more focused on the story. I just want to consume it. I wasn't thinking about all these new gameplay features. I was so young, I didn't care about these minuscule upgrades, or what seemed minuscule to me.
This is
But
where
you see
people are
these
coming out of the booth and they're saying, "I cannot wait."
Yeah, Orlando Jones, he's gonna be like, truth is, what is it? Game's awesome, dude. Oh my gosh, yeah, seeing the reactions is great too. I wish I could see more footage from this. Look at that.
I don't think
2000
anybody was unimpressed at all. I've never heard anyone say they were unimpressed with the E3 demo.
No, I mean, even looking back at it, it's just pure hype. I mean, we got to see...
Background, I can see there's the Hulk game was being shown off there.
Which game?
Hulk.
Oh, God. Dude, that game was fun. If that's the one I'm thinking. Yeah, the one from the movie with Eric Bana.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I actually liked that game. That was super fun.
Usually dude doesn't come out of my mouth, but that was awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
game's awesome, dude. Oh, man. I can't remember that actor's name, but it was cool to see him in there, too.
Yeah.
I always
He was
forget.
in, what, the Toy Soldier movie or whatever?
Yeah, that was him. That was him. Okay, now we're seeing
Playing
a bunch of group
volleyball.
play some volleyball. Actually getting out and getting some sun. Look at the haircut. Look at the glasses. You can tell these guys are not typically your average sports connoisseurs, as Joe Staten is
Joe
about to eloquently
Staten's such a
put.
likable guy. It's ridiculous.
He is, dude. He's,
Just the way he's holding that red Solo cup.
if he was a
Max
D&D
Goldman out
character,
there.
he would most definitely be a bard. He's very charming. Very charming. Look at that guy taking...
Harry
Oh, yeah, they're
Twisted
playing
Band
shirts
here.
and skins. Okay. I was like, why is that guy just randomly not wearing a shirt? Oh, man.
This
How
is
would you
them,
feel,
like,
Brian? How would you feel
killing
if you
themselves before hell. What's
you're
up?
working in a studio, you're working on a game, and then eventually they say they're going to do something like this? Are you looking forward to it, or are you like, man, this...
No, I'm not looking forward to it because I'm like, this is sports and socializing. Nah, no thanks.
Yes, I gotta imagine a bunch of them probably feel that way.
I'd be one of those guys in the background there sitting on the table on the side drinking lemonade.
Let's see, we got, what was the other? Grizzled Agents, Middle School, Newbies.
School.
Oh, I missed one. Oh, man. Yeah, I love seeing this. This is one of my favorite parts, too, because it made it feel like it was, like, one big family. I mean, obviously, they kind of
That's the thing is, like, it just goes back to how, you know, people talk about, like, you know, you only post on Facebook, like, your happy memories, your
highlight reels.
You know? And that's what this, even though they're talking about how difficult some of this stuff is, this is still a highlight reel. I mean, you can imagine stuff we don't see on video is them, like, yelling at each other, cussing at each other,
yeah,
pissed off, angry, tired,
There was
upset.
probably a lot of language that we never got to hear that was definitely said. I was reading a story in that BioWare book about how some guy accidentally, like, tripped on his first day of working there, and his head went through a wall, like drywall.
Oh my gosh,
Crazy,
okay?
yeah. So you think about all this crazy stuff that's happening. So much more I'll have to tell you sometime off the show, but yeah.
Now, dodgeball. This is something I would be more up for playing than volleyball.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of dodgeball more now than I did as a kid. As a kid, it always felt so angsty, but now it just seems it looks as fun as it is for them playing it.
Well,
that one guy with the glasses, I can't remember his name. He's always like, you know, that's the thing about you guys. He says it like coming up here, I think. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that's when I first played dodgeball as a kid. I'd always get out really quick, and so then my method became hang in the back until you're the last one, so you look like you're good.
Smart.
Started playing tug of war, the rope.
Smart. Yeah. Ugh, never liked tug of war.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, never too big on that one. Volleyball was fun.
Does it seem like it doesn't seem like there's that many women that work there, right? I've seen like one or two.
No, I feel like it's definitely a thing that's become more common now, but I think there was only maybe a handful compared to, you know, if there, like if I had to guess, if there was like 100 Bungie employees at the time, there's probably like 10 or 20 that were women. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking even less, but yeah, who knows?
Oh, you could be right, man. You could be right. Yeah, there it is. I love when he says that. Oh, man. And the stupid music that's playing, the decathlon music.
As they get their little
round.
Yeah, their little
reminds me of that Office episode. Oh, I love it. See, and I could have watched a whole like hour of them just goofing around doing that. Yeah. Because it's just more of them doing stuff, so. And right now he's talking about the last rays of sunshine. Is that what you're getting to?
Yeah. No, we're on the same spot. Yeah, it's just talking.
Oh, man.
He's always got this look of glee on his face.
Yeah, he's really positive about things. I think there's only one time we see him, maybe once or twice we see him frustrated in this. One time I think his head's down on the desk, and another time he like kind of snaps where he's like, "Oh, will I have time, you bastards?" Something like that. So. Do you like
Chief's Halo 2 look better or his Halo 1 look? Going off original graphics.
Oh man, it's so tough because they're so different. I think his Halo 2 one is definitely more cinematic looking. So I mean, I think I like it more, but I always feel the tether to the. Like my favorite's the CE one. It's classic, it's simple, but I don't think it looks as cool as the Halo 2 one.
Yeah, one looks more like a video game thing. Halo 2 looks more like a movie.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. Brian always summing up very concisely what takes me.
You know, I never try to do that or pride myself on that.
No, I love it.
You bring it up so much, I'm starting to realize, yeah, I usually take what Josh said and then I condense it.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's a good thing. It helps me out sometimes. It definitely helps me out. Otherwise, I'll ramble.
I noticed just a little bit ago behind Jason Jones.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
A little
bit ago, they had a poster of Ghost in the Shell, which I think didn't they take some influence from in terms of just Chief, right?
No, I thought I heard they took some influence for that for Oni.
Oh yeah, I think you're actually I think you're right. I think there was that one for Oni. See, there's Jason falling asleep at his desk there. Oh, Grisomir. Man, I love Grisomir. He was another person I didn't consider being as big of an influence back then as he actually is. You know,
it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be funny, like to be a part of this group. Because I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was now. I think it was actually 2014. But there was a bunch of old Bungie devs on Twitter being like tagging each other and being like, "Hey, you guys seen this Master Chief Collection thing? Like, are we getting a payout on that or no?" And it's like, no, I don't think we're getting any money from that. Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
It's like it's the game they made, but being resold.
Yeah, there was where he snapped a bit, and Grisomir was like feeling really awkward. I'm so glad they caught that look on his face. Oh man. Yeah, this is where the frustration comes in, and you can tell that
there's an Iron Giant movie theater poster back there.
Yeah. I mean, you can really see the
David Canlin, the UI designer.
Yep. Let's see, what are we going to? Oh, is this HBO stuff now? Yeah, this stuff reminds me so much of Bryan now, guys. Just getting to experience stuff at his place, and Oh man, this is something I told Brian I would love to do someday in the future in a COVID-free world where Brian's place just hosts it. A bunch of people, we set it up in advance, and people fly over, drive over, and come out and stay a week.
This is the part where it's showing Claude's house, where he has all these people come to do a giant LAN party, and people wanted to pay him to stay there because it was so much fun. He has multiple levels in his home with TVs and.
Well, let's talk about this a little. Like, I mean, it's a big deal here, but you know when
there's Bryan Gerard.
Yeah. Oh man, everyone's cheering on me. He's like, ah.
But, like 20 years later, here he is still doing this.
Well, it's fascinating here because you see some of the DNA of why this stuff was huge. Why they should have, you know, why it's good they did it for Halo 2 and everything. Like, you know, this doesn't even have any online support, like discounting Halo PC. You know,
that guy looks like Uber Nick. Oh my gosh.
He does actually. Holy shit.
It's not him though.
There's people in the basement playing. There's people upstairs. You got
they got projector screens.
Projector screens, yep, and it goes into another bedroom, and you're seeing other projector screens. It's just Inception with screens right here. I'm loving this. But yeah, you can really see the DNA for like why this stuff was successful. Like I said, I remember reading about this in a GamePro magazine, and people were doing the LAN party stuff, and I was like, what is this? I've never seen people do this with a video.
Can you imagine the sorrow you'd feel packing up to leave that?
Yeah.
You'd feel, it'd be a
lovely house too. So spacious. Yeah. Oh, and this is where she orders the pizza. See, this, when I was getting into LAN party stuff, Brian, and I would see this was like, to me, the standard. It was always like, it wasn't just getting friends together to play Halo. It was like wanting to get 15 other people
if there's not pizza
and having pizza.
Soda, then you're doing it wrong.
Yep. Gotta have soda and pizza. You gotta eat like shit. Because you're gonna have so much fun doing it. I mean, I didn't establish it first, but once I started doing it, that's what I established. Yep. Yeah, we saw Shifka there.
And soda.
Yep. I love seeing these guys' reactions. Oh, it reminds me so much of our LAN parties. There's always those moments, you know, Brian, I mean, they don't have a Brian in the group there, but if there was a Brian, he'd be like screeching at the top of his lungs or singing with music in the background.
Yeah, be saying stupid shit.
Yeah. But Brian definitely
it's crazy
it up.
Because you think, like, you know, we've come to expect so much nowadays. Like, we have the MCC with all the games and stuff. Like, can you imagine? It'd actually be really cool.
Oh, that pizza was amazing.
In one sense, it wouldn't be as fun, but it'd also be really cool. Think if today we had a giant, like, 16-player tube TV Halo Combat LAN party.
Yeah. See, and I love this too because these guys, it's a really wholesome moment. They're all gathered around the pizza discussing what
like
it's
they're being social,
yeah,
but in their own space, like their Halo LAN party space. Not
well, it's a lot more accepted now to do stuff like this, but back then, especially these guys, I mean, they got grays in their hairs and everything like that. It probably had to seem incredibly weird for people in their, you know, social circles.
Very
and stuff
oddball
like that. So
stuff to do. Yeah.
That's really oddball. Oh, I love that guy. What's his name? The guy was like, "What do? I make guns."
I'm not sure.
Always a weird, awkward close-up of his face in the camera, like it's like from Saw or something. But yeah, no, I think it's one of those things where, you know, it's so commonplace now. It's another thing we take for granted. Like, you see so much shit that's like commonplace now, but you see its inception kind of here.
Yeah. Man, I just want to. This makes me want to just go play Halo 2 right now.
Where did we leave off? What's our next level quarantine zone?
No.
Because the footage we're seeing right now is the last
we just killed the Prophet, so.
Oh yeah.
It's the first Arbiter level after that.
Yeah, I'm totally forgetting what that one is. I always get them confused. But
I don't think it's the one before. I think it's Sacred Icon. I think it's Sacred Icon.
It is.
Wow. How could we forget?
Oh man. Okay, now what are we seeing, Brian? Describe this for me. Set it up. Okay, they're gonna show off some actual in real life fire. Yeah, show off some guns and some rounds and stuff like that.
Now, do you remember how long was the Halo 3 behind the scenes video?
I don't think that one was as long. I actually think it was.
It didn't seem. It was still good, but didn't seem.
No, I was like really disappointed by it. It was good, but it's because this again set the standard. But I think it was. I want to say it was like a half hour-ish.
Yeah. But
it didn't have the same flow as this either. Like, you don't see any like decathlon type stuff. You don't see anything like this as much. It felt, I don't know, because at that point in time they started to go to the vid docs, and it kind of changed how they were like doing stuff. And I kind of, as much as I liked those like coming out, I much rather would have just been content with one. Yeah, concise documentary. It's tough because even the remaking the legend, like I'm seeing that in my suggested or whatever, and like, man, that's just not the same. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. I'm nostalgic for that in of itself. But like,
yeah, and that's even. I think that's a few minutes longer than this one.
It is, which is crazy. Because I remember, what did I say before when we first watched?
You're like, it better be an hour. Or I'm gonna be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like 55 minutes or something.
At least on the thumbnail, it's saying it's an hour and 2 minutes. So I guess I got my wish on that. Still didn't feel long enough, but that's me being a little butt. Yeah, so they're firing off rounds here, which is crazy. Again, this is another thing I never.
It's funny because they're doing this, but when they did the Halo 2 anniversary, they made the guns sound so much better. And both times they're using real weapons.
Yep. No, absolutely. The Halo 2 weapons sound fantastic. I think the sounds of those weapons are my favorite in any Halo game. The anniversary one, I mean.
Yeah.
To be specific, sure. But yeah. I mean, what I've heard of Infinite so far sounds solid.
Look at that, the Mongoose in Halo 2. It was supposed to be in the game.
Yeah. All these dirt maps. Just blank voids to travel around in. Oh, he's got the ball there. Messing around with all the physics and stuff like that. This almost reminds me of like a prototype for Forge mode, basically. I mean, that's kind of what it seems like, right?
That's the Halo 1 health bar in Halo 2.
Oh, yeah? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're right.
And the Halo 1 M.
The whole HUD is like that. Man. See, even seeing... man, that's another thing, too, is in
that guy kind of looks like Jondon.
He does look like Jondon a little bit.
I don't know if his name pops up, I'll say it.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name, but... Man, I miss, in that E3 demo, they showed the battle rifles. It's a single shot. It's not a 3-round burst. And then I remember loving that. And then once I don't think about it now because I get the DMR, but like back then before the DMR was a thing, I was like,
Jay Wineland, the audio lead. Or Jay Wineland.
Wineland?
Looks like Jondon.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Sentinel there. Weird mirror that he's got.
Working on Halo 2.
Yeah, showing some of the geometry and the DNA of it. That was a
it's gonna be. Do you think they build these games from nothing? Like it's gotta be hard to, like you can't fully envision what you're gonna create. Like once you get to the end, that's what you've arrived at. Mm-hmm. For us, we're just like, oh, we've already played the full game. Now we get to see how it got there. But for them, while they were getting there, they didn't know what it would look like at the end.
Yeah, I always wonder if there's anybody in the studios that ever sits there and thinks like, man, here, like, I'm not happy with the final product. Like, even though people love this.
Probably the whole development studio. I feel like they always say that they...
Well, I mean, I wonder if there's someone that feels that overwhelmingly about, like, most of the entire game. Not just, like, a lot of it. But, so now we're December 2003, 10 months to ship. Which I think we're about to go into some voice recording. Maybe not. I can't remember how far we are.
It does come up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's coming up soon. But, yeah, no, I wonder that. But then there's got to be people in there who would probably feel super proud of this. I mean, it's weird, right? Because, like, knowing what they went through to do this and then have it be so well received, aside from the ending, has to feel really gratifying and satisfying. But at the same time, it's like, man, here's what it could have been that people will never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seeing Max Hoberman there in his Longhorns shirt.
Yeah, we're about to see him more soon.
I'm just thinking about how after this game, he went and created Certain Affinity, and they just
won because he was only there in the initial stages for Halo 3, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't there too long.
Yeah, they just won an award for their studio in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy awesome. Here's where they're starting to cut content. You see all the paper sheets, and now they're at desks kind of discussing this stuff. Oh, that makes me so sad. They're
playing that sad Halo 2 music while they talk about the hard development. If anything's going to get you sad, it's that Halo 2 music while your game's not working.
Oh, fuck.
Josh is like, don't remind me.
I hate that song now. 343 needs to change that. It's playing right here during the most depressing point of this.
And then they put it for MCC.
And then they put it in MCC when it doesn't work. And then they still leave it in there to this day. All I could think about was the sorrow I felt. It took nights off of work and everything. Oh my god. Now I know what they feel like. 343 was like, we want you to know what it feels like. It says now, meanwhile, somewhere in Texas, this is where we're going to see the RVB boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to think they got the inception so far back. Brian, what are your thoughts on Reverse Blue and Rooster Teeth?
I love everything about it. The fact that it exists, the fact that it happened. And I think it's awesome. I love that Microsoft was willing to let them create content within Halo. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate it, but I never really got into it my whole life, to be honest with you. It's probably disappointing to some people listening, but...
No, I don't think... I mean, I think a lot of people would probably feel similar. I mean, some people probably got into Halo way. You know, you think of people like Kirsty who got in with Halo 4. I mean, this was just something that had been there.
Hey, we're seeing Bernie Burns. He's in the Halo 2 remaking documentary also.
Yeah, I do love Bernie Burns. Yeah,
he's the one who was talking about how like his girlfriend would hear Halo come from the living room and she'd get pissed because she knew that he's going to be sitting there forever.
I was a member on Red vs. Blue for like years, and I loved it, but I actually was on there more because of the community than I was actually because of anything to do with Red vs. Blue. Anytime a new episode came out, I wanted to watch it, but I never did. Oh, this is where he's like, I like to call it the Warthog. Why Warthog, sir?
That guy looks a teeny bit like Taraz.
He does look a little bit like Taraz. 12 LRV is too hard to say in conversation, son. I love that. Oh no, we're getting to see them how they work on that and do that.
Was that a Master Chief helmet? Oh, that was it. Yeah, it was like a blue Master Chief helmet.
Yeah, it did look like it. And he's just in a little closet recording.
Yeah, they're literally. He's hanging on to like the thing you'd hang your clothes on.
Yeah,
Shawshank Redemption.
He's hanging on to the rack. Yeah. Oh man, it's fascinating. Yeah, I've never been a big Red vs. Blue person myself, but I like Brian said, I respect the work they put into that stuff because I can tell it's gotten super.
The way they were doing Red vs. Blue is how people podcast nowadays.
Yep. Yeah, they were pioneers. I'm glad they're actually in this documentary for that, and that you still see Bernie and the remaking the Legend one. Like, they deserve their place.
Yeah.
That's what's sweet too about this, right? Is like even the HBO guy, like, he's not a part of Bungie, but they still included him in there just because of the impact.
There's been I can't remember. There's been something was dedicated to him a few years ago. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. I don't know, but this is all making me.
Just a Pepto-Bismol on the desk.
Yeah. Probably
somebody has
long hours
some Red versus Blue diarrhea. You know what I'm saying?
The Red versus Blue duties. This is just all making me think about how successful that first game was and what it did for people. I mean, because it
literally saved Microsoft in the gaming industry. Like they would have completely fell on their face and failed the gaming industry if it wasn't for Halo.
Yeah, dude.
Because
talk about lightning in a bottle.
First Xbox didn't even sell well with Halo.
Yeah, now we're 5 months to ship. Yeah, talk about lightning in a bottle. I mean, like, look, like, how many games you know that launched that suddenly that manifested its own type of multiplayer vibe, you know, on top of the cool story that people really loved and wanted more of, and then on top of it, machinima type thing. Like, Halo just fostered so many new types of, like, I don't know, content that no other games were really, like, doing or people had enthusiasm for. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, this is back in 2003. It's insane, too, at this time. Like, the newest Star Wars movie was Attack of the Clones, you know? Like, I think the Catwoman movie with Halle Berry came out around this time. You think about just where music and entertainment was around that time.
I don't
so long ago now. What's that, Brian?
This is one of those things where it's something that somebody would say out loud and then developers would see and then they'd laugh and say, wow, that plebe doesn't understand. But, like, a question I constantly don't get is, like, we're watching this now, Halo 2 documentary, and then getting this game to ship. And back then, games got shipped working without patches. And there was, like, and you just had to ship it working without patches.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's no such thing as a game that gets shipped that doesn't have patches. Like, what changed? Like, are we not still able to ship games that work without patches day one now? Like, why can't we do that now? I feel like we should be able to.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, you know, it seems like it just comes down to priority now because like convenience is like.
Yeah. I don't think there's such thing as like. I don't think there's such thing as lazy devs when it comes to AAA games. Like you can't do this, make this kind of thing and be lazy.
Bill O'Brien.
But it just makes me wonder like why a game is shipped with such problems that have to be patched now. It just doesn't. It wasn't done for Halo 2. It wasn't done for Halo 3.
I know what you're saying. I mean...
Though I guarantee if somebody from Bungie was listening, they'd be like, actually, if you played Halo 2 on launch night, you'd know that the multiplayer was super unbalanced and screwed up, and we fixed that in a patch. So, technically, you're still wrong there. But.
Well, this is kind of where the inception, again, was for that kind of stuff, I suppose, right? Because I don't remember other games really getting that. I'm not saying they didn't. I just don't remember ever hearing about patches until it was Halo.
How much slower would the gaming industry have progressed if it was just Sony and Nintendo? I can't imagine.
Oh, man. You definitely need more cooks in that kitchen. So much different stuff.
One of the few instances where that makes sense, that's a beneficial thing to have more cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that, right? I don't know where that changed.
When the PS2 came out, you could buy like an attachment to connect it to the internet and play like really, really like It was almost like playing on dial-up. It was just,
Yeah.
it wasn't a full online service, and then finally PS3 got its proper online service, but PS3's online was nowhere near as good as 360's.
See, before I could play Halo Online, Eric would tell me of him playing SOCOM on his PS2 online and how you could like dance over people's corpses, and that set this mental standard for like what you could do in multiplayer games online. I was like, whoa, you know. I couldn't wait to play Halo Online. My first match I remember was on Terminal. It was 16 players, big team battle. I got to live the dream. That was what I wanted to experience for so long, and it was just like, holy shit. It wasn't just like, Halo! You know, it was like, the internet's amazing.
This is amazing, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, too, is like, for anybody who's like 10 plus years younger than us who are listening, they don't understand how magnificent the internet was. Like, the internet was fascinating. Like, you can do this? Like, remember when there was commercials about people playing video games with people in other countries? It seemed like it didn't seem possible.
No. It's so weird to think you can play with people in other countries and stuff like that. I mean, again, it's another thing we take for granted nowadays, but it was so... I mean, it was available as far back as, like, what was it? What was that game? EverQuest?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm probably thinking of...
And there was internet in the 80s, maybe even the 70s, but it was not available to the public.
Correct. Yeah.
Here we're seeing Marty O'Donnell and Joe Staten joke about how much they hate each other.
Yep. Now we're seeing Jen Taylor.
Jen Taylor is voice acting.
Fine-ass Jen Taylor. If you're listening to this, Jen, hit me up.
Jeez. She wished me birthday once, thanks to Josh. Well, wished me happy birthday once. Yeah.
I still have the screenshot of that. I'm so proud of that. So you tell Brian I said happy birthday, and I hope it wasn't too late. I remember you calling me up for that. That was fun.
It was very cool.
There was our DNA for the podcast right there.
Yeah, that was years before the podcast.
Yeah. Leno Jones is talking now. Brian, who's your favorite? Okay, if we're going outside of Steve and Jen, who's your favorite voice actor in this game?
Well, we're probably not counting Sergeant Johnson. No, I'm going to go with the Prophet of Truth. If he counts.
Prophet of Truth, okay.
Prophet of Truth, I would argue that Prophet of Truth, what's his name, Michael Wincott. I would debate that maybe... I always think this chick looks like Laura Dern.
She does, dude.
Every time I watch this, I'm like,
totally looks like Laura Dern.
Marty O'Donnell.
No,
I think Michael Wincott could potentially be the best voice actor in the game.
I could see that.
I mean, it's incredible.
No, he's just got an iconic voice, dude. So iconic. The only time I've seen him since this, though, was in the live-action movie of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
And he dies in the first
here's
5
Tim
minutes.
Dodabo.
Tim Dodabo.
Still doing his voice for Point of Light.
Oh, I love seeing the voice acting stuff. See, this is fascinating. Fascinating too. It's fascinating. There's Michael Wincott. Ron Perlman. Oh my gosh.
I'm glad they kept Ron Perlman for Halo 3 since they changed Miranda and True.
Me too. Oh, there's the dude. He played a Fratelli in the Goonies. I forget his name though. I cannot believe he's in this. I always blows my mind.
Oh, that guy's selling.
Oh, Michael Richardson.
Oh.
Yep, that's all we get is Steve Downs. They, for some reason, really wanted to hide his face in this.
Yeah. Keith David.
Yeah, good old Keith David. That's insane how much he's done now. Oh, such a good voice for Gravemind. Like, there's no I'm sure there is a little bit of alterations, but he's doing so well on his own. Now everyone's screaming.
Oh, Zachary Levi.
Was that Zachary?
Yep.
Oh, that was Jeff Keighley.
I
recognize that one guy.
That's hilarious. Hold on to your potatoes.
Michelle Rodriguez.
I love Zachary Levi.
Oh, I forget that actress's name. There's Laura Prepon, Wilder Valderrama from that 70s show. Oh, what is her name? I forget her name.
So many great
the blonde gal, yeah. Oh, this part I love. Michael's talking, and then you see, oh my god, you see him kind of like just gushing.
Bungie through their Halo years, man. Lightning in a bottle.
Lightning in a bottle, man.
But the thing is, lightning in a bottle, that term almost like it seems to discredit I don't mean to discredit the hard work, because the truth is, it wasn't lightning in a bottle. It was extremely hard work from tons of people tirelessly that made these games so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, you're right. I just think of it like, I had that first game the first game just did so much more than be a success. I mean, it just went into so many different forays of success that I don't think even Microsoft or Bungie saw coming. Oh, now we're seeing the, not so much Gregorian chants, but the choir.
If Bungie knew what they had tapped into with Halo early enough, they probably wouldn't have allowed themselves
Most
to be
question on
bought
that
by
brunette chick
Microsoft.
there. Yeah, dude. That one chick in the blue, that's my boo.
She's very cute.
Yeah, 2004.
She looks like she'd be related to Evangeline Lilly, actually.
Oh man, I can only hope.
Josh, cool yourself. Oh, there she is.
She does kind of look a little bit similar. We need to cut back to her. Just watch the rest of the documentary with her. But yeah, even the
What
music.
that flute
went into
lady,
it.
Josh?
Oh man, she's going ham on that. Man, I'll get on some of that flute lady.
Jeez.
Not
I think
the same as my
we're
choir
not
girl,
going
though.
to, but I think we titled this
what to call
episode "On to That Flute Lady."
Flute lady. Should give me some of that flute.
This game, dude. This game. This is my favorite game of all time.
When did you realize it was your favorite game of all time? How soon after playing it?
Well, Josh, if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, because we always go so back and forth on things. It was my favorite game of all time, pretty much as soon as I played it. But then, for years after Halo 2, I kept mixing up what my favorite Halo game was between 2 and 3 and 1 in Reach, I think.
There's that song Peril. That's my favorite track of the whole soundtrack. I think it's because of this. Plus, I mean, this part in the game is...
It doesn't sound depressing either.
No, it's so uplifting and fun. But it gives that world the charm.
Just every time I see Halo 2 in its original graphics, it just immediately takes me back to that time of my life.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was sitting in my room, 40 count
Just
bag
like-
of pizza rolls, 2 live wires.
Right?
Gaining tons of weight.
Baggy hoodies, black clothes.
Yeah, oversized
Bang,
shirts.
Breaking Benjamin. There's Frank
Oh,
O'Connor.
Yep, good old Frank O'Connor, man. Still bald.
I'm sure at this time he had no idea that he would be can still work with Halo in 2021. And he's more prominent now, way more prominent now than he was then.
Yeah, he was just almost... I mean, if we're going off this
worked on
documentary, it's
Halo
like
one
fly on the wall, but it's much more than that.
Yeah. Right
Yeah, now they're talking
CJ
about how
was
you got to get to that
talking
point
about
of shipping where you
yeah.
kind of have to be... You got to, have an end game with it so you can actually get it out.
Can't keep fixing it. That's why the game had so much pop in and money.
Yeah, this guy we don't talk about a lot. Michael Evans, engineering lead. I love him. He just seems like a dude I would
when's
get
the
along
last time
with.
we heard from Michael Evans?
I don't know, man. I need
still
to
Bungie.
Yeah, I need to see if he's on Twitter or something like that. I've always loved him in this. Paul Bertone. A lot of love for Paul Bertone. Loved his influence on ODST especially.
When I was first playing Halo 2, it never occurred to me that the ancient structures on Delta Halo are not the same as the Forerunner structures. Those are structures made by inhabitants of the ring. They're not Forerunner.
I guess I never really put thought into that.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it. Yeah. I mean, it does have a similar archetype, but
I always thought that ship looked really cool. The one from the first level
cool.
with the Arbiter. Yeah.
Yep.
That you fight the...
They're talking about seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And then, Marcus Little said it's coming fast, indicating it's maybe a little sooner than they want.
Yep. Oh, wait, doesn't Lorraine McLeese? So her husband works there too. Then I think McLeese was the other.
She's got to be interesting, cool, and unique. Oh man, I love these little panoramic shots they're doing. And that damn track is so exciting.
Yeah.
See now, when I did Lampard,
it's crazy to think they designed different Banshee aesthetic for the Heretics.
Yeah, because it's the only mission that has it, right? A different.
You might be right.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean,
it's
the
cool
enemies
that they did that.
They have two different aesthetics too.
See, when I did LAN parties back then in high school, the music was I had a couple specific bands I listened to, but then it was the Halo 2 soundtrack would go on. I go to Brian's LAN parties, and it's his own specific music, and I'm like, Brian, gotta play some Halo music.
I'll never forget. Well, see, and I know this is just my preference. It's not that I'm right; it's just my preference. But to me, heavy metal and rock and stuff in general, that it is the Halo 2 aesthetic for me. it's just
Yeah,
how
I know
feel about
it's definitely different for everybody, but I mean, I think a lot of people would agree somewhere close to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I tell Brian all the time, the big part of the reason I love Halo 2's multiplayer is because I feel like I'm in the actual worlds of Halo, you know, the places and stuff like that. So I love to listen to the actual music when I'm playing it more than I do regular music I like. But I think I'm in the minority with that.
Pete Parsons, right there. I think he's either at the top or was at the top. I think he's
Good old
still
Petey.
at the top of Bungie. Yeah, Pete Parsons.
PDP. Oh, look at those Duke controllers, man. I love me a Duke controller. Oh, this is where they're playing multiplayer.
It's cool to see Jason Jones having fun playing Halo, because I always in my head just picture Jason Jones being like...
Yeah, he gets so pissed at Chris Carney. I don't think we're going to see it here. Maybe it happened earlier, but I remember there was a part where he was like, what is it? Because Carney is no good. And then he's like, oh my god! I always love that stuff. I love those moments so much. Yeah, it is good to see him having fun, though, playing it.
Yeah, we're getting closer to launch here. That guy's wearing big straw hat.
Yeah, I remember reading Brian McCaffrey's review of going in to play this, sitting there in the studio and kind of like just speed running through it, and not, you know, kind of closing himself in a room and not seeing the sun for a while. And boy, that had to have been amazing to work in the industry and go to Bungie and get to do a review copy of this. Whew.
It's crazy to think. I think I perpetually think of Joe Staten as like 28 to 30, but he's, you know, like what, 40 something now.
Yeah, I don't know how old he was during the time of this.
Like, I never think of these people, even like Mark. It's not just Joe Staten, even like Marcus Thuno and Marty and stuff. I always think of them as perpetually younger than they are.
Yeah. We're in the last minute of this, so now it's just kind of going through a highlight reel of gameplay footage here. See, this was so cool. Every time I watch this, you know, back then it was awesome. I didn't have Xbox Live, so like if I was wanting to play Halo and no friends could play that weekend, we couldn't get together, you know, and I played a little bit of the campaign on Legendary, and I'm up late at night, everyone else is asleep. Again, no internet access. Bam, pop in this, and I get to sort of live in this world again. And then suddenly, I
feel like you're not alone, too.
Yeah, it was a really good feeling.
I love it. I never get sick of watching this, man.